There are 8 phases of the moon. The revolution of the moon around the Earth makes the moon appear as if it is changing shape in the sky. The phases of the moon depend on its position in relation to the Sun and the Earth. As the moon makes its way around the Earth, we see the bright parts of the moon's surface at different angles. These are called phases of the moon. The phases of the moon work in a cycle. These phases are named after how much of the moon we can see and whether the amount visible is increasing or decreasing each day. A complete cycle of the moon's phases from new moon to full moon takes 29.5 days. This is known as a lunar month. A new moon is formed when the angular distance of the Sun and the moon is small and less than a few degrees. This is a new moon on both the northern and southern hemisphere on day 0. On day 3, a waxing crescent is formed. When the bright part of the moon is getting bigger, the moon is waxing. This is a waxing crescent in the northern hemisphere. When the moon is less than half lit, it is called a crescent moon. This is a waxing crescent on the southern hemisphere. On day 7, a first quarter or half moon is formed when the moon is 90 degrees east of the Sun. A first quarter moon looks like this on the northern hemisphere. This is how it looks from the southern hemisphere. On day 10, a waxing gibbous is formed when the moon is more than half lit. This is a waxing gibbous on the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. A full moon is formed on day 14 when it is 180 degrees from the Sun. A full moon looks the same at both hemispheres. On day 17, a waning gibbous is formed when the bright part of the moon is getting smaller. This is a waning gibbous on the northern and southern hemisphere. On day 21, the last quarter or half moon is formed when it is 90 degrees east of the Sun. This is the last quarter in the northern and southern hemisphere. On day 25, a waning crescent is formed before returning to a new moon. This is a waning crescent in the northern and southern hemisphere.